Hey, this is Todd Smith. I'm here with another great Todd out there. Awesome name, Mr. Todd Caputo, used car
Yeah,
king.
Todd Squared.
Who, yes, the Todd Squared moment, who
Yeah,
I've known
Todd
for a
Squared.
long time. We've had lots of conversations recently, as well as just through the last probably 15 years. So, um, with that, dude, let's get down to it, man. This is a changing environment. And I have to say, I'm really curious. I feel like you were ahead of this a little. You were really proactive in a lot of the measures you took. I also think you're a little bit of a swami because you pivoted about a year ago to a single price, best price strategy and really moved heavily into digital retailing with a super commitment then. So uh, obviously that has to help today, but I'm really curious. Let's catch up, tell everybody or tell me what's going on and how everything's
We
going right now. So.
we're in survival mode, Todd. We're literally in survival mode, and I think that every other car dealer is the same.
Yeah.
It's about survival right now. It's about conserving as much cash as we possibly can, operating extremely lean and efficient, and dealing with whatever demand there is. And unfortunately, right now, there's just not a ton of demand for cars. There's some. We are selling some cars, but not a ton right now at this point. But we are transacting online completely for the most part, finishing up the process in store, and we're dealing with how New York State tells us to sell cars. And right now, it is online and remotely only, no test.
Oh, lost you there, Todd.
You there? Yeah, we
Yeah,
got.
lost you
So
there,
yeah, I
real
got
quick.
a call that came through.
No worries. Okay.
So yeah, so anyways, the call came across my iPad. So anyways, we're operating online and remotely through. We're using Roadster. We're using our express store to do it, and it's working really, really good. And customers are really, for the most part, understanding. We explained to them they can't take a test drive right now because New York State won't allow it, and they're fine with it. They're good. We're really getting, people are very receptive right now to just doing it completely online and coming to the dealership to take delivery, which is good to any of our 4 stores.
Okay. So, like leading up to this, like, what was walk me through just what was going through your mind and like what actions did you take and how fast did you take them? So,
When you got to give me the time frame as to when, because this has been a very fluid.
okay, let's look at maybe the last 3 weeks. So,
So 3 weeks ago, this
yeah,
week,
so
I
middle of March to now.
as the middle through the middle of so up until March, like the 18th, we were having the best March we ever had. We were killing it. It was business as usual. We were rocking, and all of a sudden, I was watching what was going on, and I just felt something. I'm like, things are not right. Things are going to get worse, and my gut just kept telling me. And me, I'm a pretty religious guy. I believe it was the Holy Spirit telling me to move and act very, very quickly. So I did. We did whatever we could do to extend get some cash. Basically, I drew on a line of credit that I had that I never usually used. I floor planned every car that I could that I own for cash, and we put together a plan to close because I knew that we were going to get closed down within a week. So we try to come up with different, scenarios and contingency plans and different phases, and we did that. I got a really good team of people in my leadership teams at the dealerships, and we executed and we closed. I had one of my technicians got sick at my Chevy store, and I had already decided to close prior to the state telling me anyways. And then when I found out that he was sick, that would kind of made the final decision for me that I was going to close regardless of what the state told me to do or not, because I didn't want my people getting sick. So I
Yeah.
shut.
How's he
And
doing?
then he's doing fine. So
Okay.
he did have Corona. He was positive. If it was going to kill anybody, it would have killed him. So it's a good thing, I guess. The guy smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day and was overweight, and he just had a staph infection 2 months ago. And if
Wow.
he made it, I think most people
That's
can.
good news.
Yeah, man.
Gives you
So
like some positive hope for that.
yeah.
So.
So, but we can still be open for service right now at my dealerships, but I've chosen not to be. I don't want the public coming in and out of the dealership right now. I don't want anybody getting sick, and so we are open for sales only, and we're doing it online.
Yeah.
And
So right. So walk me
you
through
know,
like, okay, sales online, everyone goes to the website, like You can go to any website, then they go through Roadster's process online. I assume at some point there has to be still a conversation with one of your staff is still working, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
So
not completely virtual. It's
no, so we cut off all of our traditional advertising. We stopped it. We're
okay.
still advertising online with all of our third party vendors, which have been kind enough to cut their bills in half for at least the next couple of months,
It's good.
which is great. So we're still on cars.com. We're still on Car Gurus. We're still on Carfax. We're still on Auto Trader. And they've been kind enough to hack their bills in half, which I hope 60 days is enough. We'll see. Hope if business stays slow, I'm hoping they continue to do that. So
Right.
we are getting leads through third parties and through our own site. And what's nice is that Roadster's platform is taking in all my third party leads as well.
Right.
And it's sending back an autoresponder, getting people to go to our Roadster site to try and transact. And we have reporting, and the lead counts are decent. And we are definitely getting people that want to buy cars and do it online. And we're doing it with a very, very small staff. I had 213 people on payroll. I've now got 13.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it. So there's 2 people in each dealership that are, they were people on my leadership team. They're all working for probably 50% less than they're used to making. They're happy to be working right now, and we're working as a team together. We're paying them a bonus at the end of the month based on what all 4 stores do, not their each individual store. So they all work together as a team, and I've got a very small crew in accounting, and some people billing deals, and a couple of mechanics that are inspecting cars, and we're just some people cleaning cars and photoing cars on the side, and we're just getting it done.
Okay. So how's your day look? I mean, wake up, are you keeping same routine? Normally I'd call you, we'd have our morning call, and you're already in the car, you already have picked up your coffee and your donut, and you're heading to a
Yeah,
store. Like
no,
you had like
no
a
donuts.
routine, man. Every
Yeah, no,
day I would
no
talk to you, you
donuts.
had this like you were already in motion, man. So you'd
I'm
already
still
picked
in.
all
We're
cars
still.
online.
I'm still in motion now. We're not buying any inventory right now at all.
Right.
We are taking cars in on trade, but typically most of my day was spent in inventory acquisition. But right now we're just in sell down mode.
Yep.
We're not buying cars at all at auction. We are still buying cars off the street though from customers. We are still doing that. And I have a meeting with my team every morning at 9:30. We do a go to meeting, and we find out where we're at, and we just execute throughout the day. I'm handling all the calls personally that come into the business. They go into our voicemail system, and I'm calling customers back that are looking to get service work or haven't been able to speak to anybody in sales, and calling them back personally and talking to my customers and explaining to them that we're still closed in service and why. And people that don't reach a salesperson or when my leadership teams to buy a car, I explain to them, somebody will call them back, and I explain to them what the rules are. And people are good with this. That's the one thing. Like, I haven't had one customer yell at me or be upset. The public's been really understanding with this, which is good. And, that's a good thing.
Yeah, that makes it a little bit easier. I think everybody's still in what's going to happen next mode. So as you're laying this out, you'll be able to keep selling down out of the inventory. At some point, you will need to buy cars again, or
Yeah.
what will happen? 'Cause I saw
When
going back online this week.
well, there are auctions that are still online. ACV, we're selling our trades on ACV
Okay.
every day, but the only stuff that's really moving in the wholesale market at all right now are cars that are like sub $5,000, $6,000. Just inexpensive cars seem to be getting the most bids and the most eyeballs. That's where there's liquidity. Other than that, there's no liquidity right now in the used car market at all, none. And I haven't really seen anybody write about that in automotive news or any other publications. But you cannot get rid of a car right now if it's over 8-9 grand. There's no action. There's nobody bidding unless it's
Right.
just so cheap it's for nothing. So it makes it very challenging when you're taking cars in on trade, because you still have people that want to transact, but you have to be able to take the car in really for the right money, and nobody truly knows what the right money is. Are you
Yeah.
2 grand back of MMR? Are you 3 grand back of MMR? Are you black book rough? Are you gals wholesale? Are you gals market ready? Like, what are you putting in cars? It's a challenge, and I'm seeing some of my competitors that are still trying to sell cars. Some of them are being conservative, and some of them still think cars are worth the old money. And I lost a deal on a new Silverado the other day. Somebody put $5,000 more in a Jeep Wrangler than I did. So they can have that deal. Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
Good luck
imagine.
with
So
that one.
that brings up a good point. So, I mean, I've always known you're so deep in two things: tech and used cars are like your ballywick, where you really just hone down a high level of expertise. So, the digital retailing and technology, you're seeing it working, right? That I see. You're obviously selling and retailing cars. And then the used car, what do you think is going to happen in that space? Like, where do you see it going over the next 30, 60, 90 days?
So right now there's cars piling up all across the country, everywhere. There's rental cars that aren't being rented. They're piled up. They're piled up in Florida where you are. They're piled up literally everywhere, all across the country. So you've got rental cars sitting, and at some point they're going to have to cash them. Enterprise, Hertz, Avis, all of them. Those cars got to get sold. You got lease turn-ins coming in, right?
Yeah.
That are piling up at car dealerships. Then they're piling up at auctions. Pretty soon we're going to see a lot of repossessions. It's only a matter of time. I think that's a few months away, but that's coming too. You've got no retail demand whatsoever currently for used cars, or very little demand for cars in general, new or used. I think that's another 3-4 weeks where there's very little demand. And you've got dealers that are on 60-day turns, and you've got dealers that have cars already at auctions now that they couldn't sell the last few weeks already, because the sale rates at auctions that are open are sub 10%. So normally at a car auction, you would see 70% of the cars get sold. So if an auction ran 1,000 cars, they'd sell 700 of them. Well, now they're selling like 50 if they run 1,000. So what's that tell you?
Yeah.
I think the used car market is only going to do what the stock market's done. And the only reason why it hasn't yet is because the auctions really aren't open. There's no liquidity right now in the used car market, and not a lot of people are talking about it, but that's the next big hit.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. People probably aren't even thinking about that, in most
No,
circles.
I am, because it's all about the trade. So what are you putting in trades? What are you putting in trades, and what are you going to be acquiring to sell cars? And it's going to be everybody's. If you think you got water now, just wait for another month.
Yeah.
Your you're going to be literally, your head's going to be just above it if you're lucky. I look at any deal I can get right now is just a gift, and I'd rather lose $2,000 now than $6,000 in a month. I can tell you that, because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I know we talked about that. I remember it was probably a little close to a month. I said, oh man, I'd probably want to sell out of the inventory really fast and get rid of everything.
Yeah,
it's
the
like
problem
musical
is now
chairs,
there's no demand. So there will be demand for cars when people are let out of their houses and these stay-at-home orders are lifted and businesses are allowed to open back up. But not to be negative, but you're going to have really high unemployment. You will definitely have some people that do have some cash because of the money coming out from the government, the unemployment money, and some of the other stimulus money coming out. But if you're a bank, are you going to give somebody a loan that's a 650 score who's unemployed and who's collecting unemployment right now? I don't think so. And then customers that already have negative equity now in their trade, their negative equity just got a lot worse the last couple of weeks, and it's not going to get any better. And I'm running up against that right now. We have people that want to buy cars, but they owe 11 grand on a car that was worth 8 grand 3 weeks ago, pre-corona.
Right.
Now the car is worth 4 grand. So instead of being 3 grand upside down, they are now $7,000 or $8,000 upside down, and you're not going to get those people financed.
Yeah. How do you think it's working like now with the OEMs now all putting out 84 months and no interest? Are they going to suck people out of the future marketplace? I mean, I'm thinking like it just flashbacks of 2008 and 9 all over.
Yeah, but the difference is the only way that a lot of new cars are getting sold is leases. So that's the majority of the new car business that gets done is leases, and their residual values are gone. How are they going to compute residual values? It's not going to happen. So it's going to be money on the hood with incentives and low interest rate because money's free, but that doesn't make a $50,000 Silverado pickup truck, even at 84 months, even at 0% with a rebate on top of it. The payment isn't $199 or $250 a month with $2,000 down.
Right.
And that's the only way that inventory was getting moved. So I don't know what's going to happen with new cars, to be quite honest with you. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I don't see lease deals. Like, I don't see lease deals at all. I don't see how anybody is going to be able to put any kind of value on a used car at all going forward. And if they're
Yeah.
basing it on the auction results now, forget about it. So,
Yeah, there are
not to
none.
be negative, not to be negative, but that's how I look at things. I've been doing this for a long time, and that to me seems like just common sense.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, look, I believe still this is like a rippling thing. It's not oh, we just have coronavirus and then coronavirus goes away and we all go back outside and everything goes back to normal. I think we're just going to see this ripple throughout everything. And I think there's a bigger wave coming that, we just haven't seen yet. And I don't know what that is.
It's why you got to be really, really conservative with your cash and your business.
Yeah,
Very, 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 very conservative. And the other thing to think about too, when you talk about this virus, is there's no vaccine.
right.
So this could go away because of all the social distancing we've been doing and everything being shut down. But it also could come back. There's some pretty smart people that I've talked to in the medical community that are saying this thing comes back in July. I'm hoping that people in leadership and government have a little bit more sense about how we're going to deal with this, because they can't shut businesses down again. They just can't. If this all happens again in July, after people are back out for a little while and there is some business going on, it's going to be the nail in the coffin for a lot of people. There's got to be more common sense, Todd. If you look at the death rate here, no one wants to see anybody die, believe me. But I think the consequences are a lot worse for people if there is a economic severe recession or even a depression. I think the results from that are worse than, unfortunately, the death rate that we're seeing because of the virus. There's got to be some common sense if this thing comes back with social distancing, restrictions, masks. Maybe I don't know. I just think there's a better way other than just completely closing down everything. There's got to be.
Yeah. Thinking about that, like going back, like, are you going to change the protocols at the dealership? Like, what's going to change? Like, how are you going to interact with people? How do you protect the employees? How do you protect the customers? I know a lot of lawyers, and I feel like it's coming, the corona lawsuits of, oh, you didn't protect your employee. Oh, you let your employee just stand there. You didn't give him anything. And now he has the virus and he died, or he got deathly ill and it damaged his heart. And, these law firms are going to go at this like crazy.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the issue is who's going to have money to pay the lawsuits.
yeah. Yeah.
Who's going to have money to pay the lawyers? So again, listen, the big difference with this one, and I talk to a lot of people about this every day, is, literally the entire world we're all in the same boat here.
Okay.
We're literally all in the same boat. It doesn't matter what country you live in, what business you're in, whether you're mother, father, doesn't matter. We're all in the same boat. And that's the nice thing. I don't want to say it's nice, but we can get through it, but we got to work together. And if we find that people are being trying to take advantage or be, litigious, I think that those people honestly are going to get shunned.
Okay.
I think bad. I think that anybody that's not doing their part right now to social distance, anybody that's not doing their part to keep their business closed, anybody that's not doing their part just to stop this from spreading is, I think they're foolish. And I think they're going to be looked upon terribly because we're all in this together.
Yeah. I agree. So will you make steps at the stores when you can come back online more fully for service?
Yeah.
Like getting into a car that you're going to service and knowing that, the
Yeah. I mean,
virus
we're already
can
doing that. We're already doing that now when it comes to deliver.
Oh, lost you again, Todd. Another call, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I'm back.
Okay.
So
No worries.
we're already doing that now. When it comes to sanitizing cars, we're not open for service at this point. So, but when we are open for service, we're all going to be obviously sanitizing things, cleaning things a lot better than we used to.
Yep.
I'm not going to say we'd never cleaned them, but we're just going to be definitely more diligent about it for sure, without a doubt. And again, I think people are just going to be scared to go out in general.
Yeah.
I think that this is a shift in how consumers are just going to buy things in general, without a doubt going forward. People won't forget this for a long time. And I think they're going to be afraid to, not afraid to go out in public, but I think they're going to be very cautious. So I think the the person in business or the person in any kind of business, whether it's a restaurant business or the car business or any kind of retail business, needs to be able to transact, remotely and electronically for a while, and have an online platform to do it. A
Yeah.
good one.
Did you see AutoNation was using that, it's called like a Clorox 360, like an atomizer sprayer for their cars?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Can't buy one. They're sold out.
Yeah, I saw it. Like, yeah, it was an $8,000 machine, and they're like gone.
Yeah. I don't know if that's necessarily, I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah.
But I think you can clean a car just fine and get germs out of it with some more basic stuff than spending $8,000.
Probably,
Yeah.
So, but it's interesting that, processes obviously will need to change, and, you'll probably change some stuff at store level. And, I feel like, as I said, you just had more of an advantage to the retailing side because you were already thinking more digital retailing and trying to help consumers have the better experience already. So, and have the consumers, are they going farther through the Roadsters platform now than they were before? Have you seen any changes in like the consumer's actual behavior, or are you just supplementing whatever was missing in there with your teams?
Prior to this event, customers were doing some of the process at home and then finishing it up in store. And we use Roadster's platform to do as much or little as they wanted to do online. Now there really is no choice. You got to do most of the process online. And because of the fact that the Roadster's so good and does such a good job, people are getting through it relatively easily. One of the things that's really been a game changer is people with trade-ins, because pretty much everybody has a trade right now. Like, I'm remotely appraising every trade right now through Roadster, and it's been extremely helpful because you can't really have somebody come in and walk their trade except when they come to take delivery of the car, because we're not allowed to according to New York State's rules. So that's been really, really helpful.
All right, so I think they have a process, right? You go out, you take pictures at certain angles of the car.
Yeah.
You do some things, right? Like they write up their description stuff. So you get all that data.
Yeah. So we send them a link. We send them a link from the site. They click the link and they click get a firm offer. And then on their phone, they are walked through the process. It shows them which panel to take a picture of, and it takes them around each panel of the car. It's almost like somebody doing a condition report at an auction, but a customer's doing their own on the interior and the exterior, and they can put in comments. And then they submit it, and then we send an offer right back to them pretty much immediately. So they know exactly what we're going to give them for their car. And then when they come at delivery, we have to obviously visibly inspect it and drive it. So all of our employees that are working, which aren't many, but there are some, they get in the car, they wipe it down. We have seat covers, plastic seat covers that we're putting on the cars, and they wear gloves and they wear a mask, and they drive the car around the lot, make sure that it functions mechanically, transmission works, four-wheel drive works, air conditioning works, heat works. And then they inspect the car to make sure that the customer took pictures of all the damage, which sometimes they forget to do, but so, and then we can validate what we offer them on trade for their car or purchase. It's very easy. It's all done through the platform, which is great. And the platform pushes the appraisal to vAuto as well, automatically. Matter of fact, one just came across my screen right now as we speak. A guy with a 2012 Impala just came across the top of my iPad. Awesome. So I got an appraisal to do as soon as we get off this meeting. So, it's been really helpful.
What do you think, technology-wise, what's missing? Like, what do you think the future is for? Where's the gap? You're an entrepreneur, and I know you always see the gaps, man. So,
where's the gaps in the way we're doing things right now?
Yeah.
I don't really know if there is much of a gap because, Roadster gives us the ability to pretty much do most of this already. And then we can get creative with people just by taking a smartphone out and walking around the car and sending the customer a video of the inside and the outside. We can already do that now. And we can FaceTime or we can Zoom. Like, we have all this tech already. It's just, honestly, it's a matter of having the right people right now. I think that's more than anything else, is you got to be surrounded with a group of people in your company that you can trust, number one. Number two, that are really good with technology and probably tech and people equally. They have to have really good people skills, and they have to be really good with technology, and have to be trustworthy. I think those are the three things that are the most important.
That makes a lot of sense, man. Well, hey, I don't want to take up your day. I know you got to praise cars and you got to sell what's there when the going's happening. So I just, again, appreciate you taking the time today. I have a kind of fun, candid conversation. And,
Absolutely.
it's just interesting to hear everyone's perspectives of where things are. And I mean, I still believe that hopeful for tomorrow and, things will get
Oh,
better. So,
I'm very hopeful for tomorrow. I don't think this is a V thing though. Everybody's, oh, it's a V-shaped thing and things are going to bounce right back. I don't see it.
right.
I think it's a really fat. I don't even want to call it a U. I don't even think it's a U. I think it's a slow recovery,
Yep.
and but we would definitely recover 100%. But anybody in business or just in life in general, this is a reset, and it's an opportunity to completely reprioritize things in your life. And honestly, if there was ever anything you wanted to change in your business, now's the time to do it.
Yeah, I
So
agree 100%.
that's how I'm looking at things.
I agree with you. So cool, man. Well, thanks. It's always good
All right,
seeing
man.
you. Hey,
Hey,
man,
man.
go
Talk
praise
to
the
you.
car. I'll call you
Safe.
later. I'm sure we'll
All right.
catch up.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Take care.